This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome everyone, and as you've seen here in the email that I've sent out a couple of times now of that we changed the cold plate workstream meetings to be monthly, every second Wednesday of the month at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's when we're meeting for an hour to discuss. If there is need, if there's request of bringing in other topics as well, we can always set up other meetings in between here, so it becomes more of a bi-weekly one. But so far, we're focusing on having the monthly meetings and go through as much information as possible in those meetings. That's really my update here. So my proposal for agenda here today is to go through opens first, then suggested changes to the cold plate document, requirements document that the focus group is working on, and then go through the changes themselves in the document. So with that, I just want to check in with everyone if there are any opens, if there's any information, anything that you want to share or discuss during today's meeting. That's pretty quiet. So I'm guessing not then. Giving it a little bit longer just because it could be hard to get off mute at times. Okay, nothing. Okay, well, let's continue then with the agenda here. So we have, as I was showing just previously, all the information, you can find it on the Advanced Cooling Solutions wiki page. And you have the documents that we're working on. So there you have meeting notes under the cold plate workstream work in progress documents. And you also have the cold plate requirements as well, a draft that the focus group is, we're meeting weekly in order to work on this requirements document. And then we come into this meeting to review it. And so we have, let's go to this. Okay. Make it a little bit, hopefully this is visible here. So we have liquid cooling cold plate requirements document, and we're starting off here with the introduction, and it's really what we focused on so far. I can jump back here. What we focused on so far is really going through having an introduction, then basically making definitions and or using, terminology, which is really of using the same terminology as used in ASHRAE. We don't think that there's any reason for us really to create a different type of terminology, but use the one that same as in ASHRAE. And then we go into liquid cooling technology definition. So what does it mean, full liquid cooling system, cold plate, and so on. So we're putting in, explanation around the definitions of the wordings that we're using in this document. And then we get into cooling component selections and parameters of interest. So if you're gonna buy or design a system that is liquid cooled system or IT equipment or rack, really, what are the parameters that you want to consider? So I should say here also that this document is solely focused on the TCS loop. So that's really the cooling loop that goes from the CDU through the manifold into the IT equipment, through the IT equipment, and then back again. So that's what we're focusing on here as a first instantiation. And then we're working through different harmonization groups with the data center facilities group to make sure that the facility side as well, that the interfaces are defined and so on. And that harmonization has just started. So we get into, as I said, the parameters of importance and what are the things to consider when you're selecting, for example, a cold plate solution. What are the parameters to consider? What and so on. So we go through and show some of that, and then we're going to get into liquid cooling requirements and references, working on that as well. So we're currently working on requirements. Just it's initiated that work within the focus group. So we don't have anything to report out today, but today then we will talk about updates from the last call. Got some feedback when going through the material during last call. So we've done some updates to the document, and those updates are then in the liquid cooling technology definitions, as well as in the component selection and parameters of interest. So that's what we will be going through today. Any questions with that? Nope. Okay. So what I did in the document as well, so if you're following along and you've already been attending the meetings and reading through here, then of course you want to know what is updated and what is new. So I've highlighted that in yellow as we go along here. And there was one comment last time regarding, because really the liquid cooling requirements, we're talking about liquid cooling, but it really refers to single phase cooling as well as two-phase cooling. So we can have phase change, and we talk about single and two-phase in this document as well. But I just added it in other places here, also saying that it could be liquid gas phase change really to be considered. And we also, at last meeting, was brought up that for two-phase cooling, we really should, the document had only included dielectric liquids, but we also should include refrigerants. And so that has been added on here. And we're also saying that cooling liquid, so talking in the document, we use the wording of cooling liquid, and here we make sure that that everyone is aware that that refers to the coolant in both single-phase and two-phase implementation. So that was added there, and refrigerants as well. So with that, so we're talking about in the selection, so that was really in the definitions section of the requirements document. And then we get into the cooling liquid selection. So it's basically talking about what are your different options here, right? So we've gone through this before. We have water with additives, glycol-based liquids, dielectric liquids, or refrigerants here. And refrigerants was just added. And the text around it is, in addition to dielectric liquids, also refrigerants can be used for two-phase cooling. The refrigerants have relatively low boiling temperature that allows the liquid to change phase and evaporate. This saturation temperature can be altered by varying the operating pressure. The pros and cons of refrigerants are shown in table 4. So this is where
Hi guys, Caleb here. Jessica, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we don't hear Jessica.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Was that Cam? Thank you. All right. Let's give it a second here. See if she's able to rejoin. Continue to stand by here, guys. Sorry. Try to see if we can get this fixed or not.
I'm trying to call her now, see if she'll pick up the phone.
Yeah, same. Let's see if we can ping her. Thanks, Nigel.
She just might not know that she's disconnected.
Okay, everybody, she's dialing back in. The system booted her out of the somehow, so she's trying to come back in, dial back in. It's just taking her a bit of time. So please bear with us.
Yeah, and just to answer another chat there, yeah, Jessica's going to try to rejoin, and everyone else can stay in the room. There shouldn't be a need for everyone else to rejoin. So, again, continue to bear with us here.